What up, boys? It's Gaz, and welcome to the WARFRAME video. So yeah, we're just gonna have a kind of an idea that I've been thinking about last couple days after we made our video about actually it was a brief mention of saying that I think that prime frame should be harder to obtain. I got a lot of comments in that video saying like, well, I would be okay with prime frames being hard to obtain if prime frames actually were a bigger upgrade over the normal versions of the frames, because I'm sure a lot of you guys know this at this point, that compared to the normal versions of a frame, the prime frames usually have like 15 extra armor or like increased sprint speed. Nothing too insane. So you get things with like Nezha Prime where it's basically like I think a sprint speed increase or things like that. Let's just quickly show Nova Normal versus Nova Prime. As you can see right here, basically not a huge deal. More energy, more health, and more armor, with those being very small amounts of increases, honestly. So I had an idea. Now this is going to be a lot of stuff to go over, and trust me, it can definitely be improved on as well. It's just an idea that I had, and we would need more challenging content for this to actually even be necessary. It's not necessary in the slightest, and that's also part of the reason I think it's a good idea. So before we get into it, guys, going over the idea I have for a potential like raid reward in the future, make sure you hit that like button and let me know how you feel about this idea down in the comments. We've been having lots of good discussion lately, and yeah, I'm just saying how I feel. If you don't feel the same way as me, that's totally fine, 100% fine, man. All right, so what I'm going to be suggesting today is a new way to make prime frames not only more powerful and customizable, but also like differentiate themselves from the normal version of the frames. And this idea I actually kind of took a little bit from other games I do enjoy. So I'm going to quickly just show you this. This is from Dota 2. It also is in Heroes of the Storm, but I haven't played Heroes of the Storm in years. It's a talent tree. So my idea is something like we would get a new item called like an Orokin Ascendancy core or something like that from a really hard mission, or maybe you could buy it for like in Prime Access or something like that. And what this would do is you would use it on your prime frame. So for example, I would use it on, you basically would use it on whatever prime frame you are enjoying the most, or you want to like make your new main character. And what that's going to do is it's going to unlock a series of specific challenges dedicated to that frame. So I made a mock-up version of one for Ash right here, and it will give you upgrades if you complete this. And these will be associated with the neuroptics, the chassis, and the systems, which are the parts you need to build the prime frame in the first place. Of course, there's a blueprint as well. But yeah, as you level up and as you like complete specific challenges, so for example, like say for Ash Prime, you need to kill a level 500 enemy with his 4 to unlock one of these passives. Let's just say that's an example. Of course, they can design it however they want to, but it have to be something that you'd have to go out of your way to do. It would have to be an accomplishment that you're not normally doing, or maybe just like a huge amount of enemies killed with a certain ability. So here's what I've got here. It's just a mock-up, like I said, but these will be powerful passives and powerful upgrades that would make the frame unique. And this would be for every prime frame in the game. There'd be specific things. So for here, right here, we have 2 different, and you can choose these paths. I'd say these would be permanent selections you'd make that you would not be able to reverse, unless potentially, if maybe like 125,000 syndicate rep could buy you a point refund or something like that. But I feel like it should be, if this was to happen, it should be a very serious decision that you're making, that you want to commit to this kind of pathway where I want to go down the DPS route. I want to get increased melee attack speed after I've killed like 2,000 enemies with a slash proc weapon with Ash or something like that. Like I'm saying, the challenges of course would be up for debate, but a lot of people just like to see progress bars go up, honestly. Like a lot of this battle pass situation that a lot of games are doing nowadays, people just want to see a progress bar go up, feel like they're working towards something. And this would be something that would not only potentially be a plat sync for people that don't have a plat sync at this point. There's not really much to spend plat on in this game. It would also be some more customization, which I've always thought we need more of. And it would also be some endgame loot, which would further allow build customization. Because, I mean, as long as you make the options powerful enough, And I didn't think about these different passes too much, but I tried to just make it go down the left side's the DPS route, the right side's the stealth route. But you could make them mixed enough that it feels like it's a meaningful choice. So on the left, we have increased headshot multiplier across the board. On the right, plus 200% throwing weapon damage bonus. Because throwing weapons usually aren't very strong. But Ash is literally a ninja. So maybe making it so he makes like the Hiku Prime, the shurikens and stuff in this game have a big bump in damage. He could actually be a frame that you would actively use shuriken weapons on. And things of that nature. Increased headshot multiplier. That would work on, because you can get headshots with melee in this game. It could make you have a stronger dread shot, all that kind of stuff. And like I said, I didn't really think about the different passive choices too much. Here's just another example of the Dota 2 example, because these guys have thought this through more. On the left, it's like ability damage reduction. On the right, it's just increased damage for your attacks for level 1. On level 2, it's increased attack speed or increased tankiness. Level 3 is increased health or increased movement speed. And the level 4 one, level 25 or whatever it's called, that's going to be like the end after you've gotten through all the stuff. And that's on my example too. Once you've unlocked all 3, you've unlocked the neuroptics, the chassis, and the systems, which in my theory you could do in any order. You would get to the ultimate Orokin upgrade at the end, which is like you mastering the frame basically, where you can choose like extremely high impact changes. Like on the right, Blade Storm energy cost removed. I honestly find Blade Storm slow enough that I think that wouldn't even be OP, but 0 energy cost on Blade Storm forever, or increase bleed damage on your passive, which that is Ash's passive. He does increased damage with slash procs. So I think this would be a great idea, and a lot of people have been saying they don't think prime frames feel special enough, and I totally agree. But I was thinking about it, making them harder to farm for, I don't think that's a valid solution, because at this point, people have like hundreds and hundreds of sets of these just stored up. It's just going to make the rich get richer if they make prime frames harder to farm for. And this is not a thing that would be necessary at all. And I personally feel like if you make it enticing enough, people are going to want to go out of their way to farm this stuff. They're going to be wanting to do raids. I would say this would be a great raid reward. Maybe make it not a high, or actually make it a guaranteed drop from the raid every completion. So like you have to do like, how many prime frames are like 20 or 30? You have to do the raid 20 times to get a reactor or an Orokin Ascendancy core is what I wanted to call it for every prime frame, if you have every prime frame. So that makes the raid worth doing, and maybe make it other raid rewards as well, like where you get they have to make some more stuff, to be honest, but like maybe some Riven mods could drop there, things of that nature, like things that people want. Like I said, they probably have to make more stuff. They end up making raids, but I think this would be a nice little thing to upgrade and make primes actually matter. Like I said, I don't think they really matter. 25 energy is not really enough. You basically just get the prime frames to say you have them and to not have to use the normal one anymore. And as far as I'm concerned, once they made the helmet system, they made it so the normal versions of the frames are basically for subsuming. Of course, there are frames that don't have prime versions like Wisp, Garuda, Lavos, etc., the newer ones. But I mean, eventually it will get to a point where there is going to be a prime frame for nearly every frame as they keep making new ones. So that's the general idea for this this video, guys. Like I said, it could be reiterated on, and honestly, like having just 2 options might not be enough. Maybe like 4 options for every level. You get to the neuroptics one, okay, well, you can have either increased headshot damage, throwing weapon damage, or maybe some other things like a new thing where it's like you have built-in Fatal Teleport or something like that. As you can see, level 3, I have the choice between built-in Seeking Shurikens. You never need to run the Seeking Shuriken mod ever again. That's a mod slot that you are saving on. Or Invis Duration plus 25%, which honestly is basically just having a mod slot freed up. So, of course there would end up being a meta of the best stuff to pick for these frames, but like I said, if you make both the choices strong enough, then the customization it's a good feeling for the player that they get to find their play style, express the way they like to play the game through these decisions. And I thought it was just a really fun idea. Let me know how you guys feel about it in the comments down below. I will try to be checking them all out and responding to them where I can. And if you have any ideas for of course, like I said, the reason I'm bringing this up is because they said they were going to bring back raids eventually, but that's a gigantic meme, of course, because they said the temporary future of Warframe raids in like a forum post. Like I want to say it's like 2 or 3 years at this point, and it honestly, depending when you're watching this video, it might have been like 3.5 years at this point. So I'll talk to you guys next time. Hopefully you found it fun and helpful and maybe thought-provoking to watch this video. I'll talk to you guys next time, and take it easy. Peace.